Okay, everybody, so we're going to find the area of the shaded region. So that means this gray part right here. This is pretty simple. I'm going to use my calculator for scratch paper, but I know that we need the area of the big rectangle. And then because we're cutting out the little one, we're going to subtract the area of the small rectangle. So I just kind of wrote that in there so I would know what I needed to do. Okay. I'm going to take the area of the big rectangle and I'm going to cut out or subtract the area of the small rectangle. So for now, I'm going to put in LW because I know that is the area of a rectangle. Please make sure and know where to find that on your formula sheets. And I'm going to start with the big one. Up at the top, that 21, I'm going to call that the length. And down the side here, the 17, I'm going to call that the width. And that gives me 357 for the area of the big rectangle. So I'm going to put it up here at the top, 357. So now I'm going to do the area of the small rectangle. So right here is a 5. I'm going to call that the width. And 18, this side at the bottom, is I'm going to call the length. It doesn't matter if those go the other way, it'll still work. And that gives me 90. So I'm going to do the area of the big rectangle minus the area of the small one. And that gives me 267 inches squared for what's left over once you have this whole big rectangle and you cut out the middle rectangle. You end up with 267 inches squared. So next, I'm going to look at this figure. Okay. It says find the area. So I know I'm looking for area of this figure. You can draw all of this down here that has the straight sides. You can draw all of that on the back of your board. But I'm going to go ahead and use math to do it. So I'm going to need the area of a semicircle. So I'm going to type that area of a semicircle. Then I'm going to add, and I'm going to go ahead and split this way. I'm going to get the area of the big rectangle, but I'm just going to put rectangle. And then I'm going to add the area of the smaller rectangle. Okay, so I've got 3 things I'm going to have to find. So I'm going to start out with the area of a semicircle. I know that the area of a circle is pi r squared. But if it's a semicircle, I got to put a half in front of that. Okay, so the only thing I need to figure out is my radius. Well, this one is fairly easy. If you look right here, all the way from one side to the other is 10. So a radius is half of that. So I'm going to put in the whole thing and divide it by 2. So that means the area of that semicircle is 39.3. You know what? I'm going to put it in right underneath it so you can still see what I'm doing. So 39.3 is the area of the semicircle. So now I'm going to erase that. And I've got 2 rectangles. And just like we did before, LW. So L equals and W equals. So this one over here, it has this long side right here is 20. So I'm going to call that the length. And it has this short side here, which is 10. So I'm going to call that the width. So that gives me 200. So I know up here, I'm going to add it. So I'm going to put plus 200. And then I'm going to have to add the next rectangle. But first, I have to find out what its area is. So I'm going to undo all the numbers. Well, I know that one side of it is 15. So I'm going to make that the width. But to find the length, I need the length of this piece right here. And to do that, I need to find all the other pieces that are facing or lying the same way. So that one at the bottom is lying the same way. And this one up here at the top, the 10 is lying the same way. So I know this whole thing is 25. So I'm going to start with 25. But then I'm going to subtract the part I have up here at the top, the 10. And that's going to be left over what I have right here, the 15. So that's how I know that that's the length. So that means the area of the smaller one, or actually it's not smaller, it's a square here, is 225. So that means the total area for the whole figure is 464.3 meters squared. Okay? All right, if you have questions, please remember to ask us, okay?
Mhm.